Life in the third dimension presents us with a rich and complex experience, but it often comes with emotional baggage and trauma that can weigh us down. The physical and material nature of third-dimensional existence, where duality and separation dominate, can create wounds, emotional scars that linger long after painful events or experiences have passed. Healing from third-dimensional trauma is not just essential for personal growth, it is a necessary step in evolving our consciousness and shifting to higher dimensions of awareness. In this episode, we will explore how the baggage accumulated in the third dimension affects us, why healing is essential for transcending to higher dimensions, and the techniques that can facilitate this transformation. Additionally, we will provide reflection prompts to help viewers begin their healing journey. The nature of third-dimensional trauma. In the third dimension, we are deeply rooted in the material world, experiencing life through the lens of separation, ego, and duality. In this state, we often see ourselves as isolated beings, disconnected from others and the universe. This perspective creates a fertile ground for trauma to develop, as our relationships, experiences, and emotions are all filtered through the limited perspective of the ego. The illusion of separation. One of the primary sources of trauma in the third dimension is the illusion of separation. We perceive ourselves as separate from others, from nature, and from the divine. This belief leads to feelings of loneliness, fear, and insecurity. We fear losing control, losing loved ones, or not measuring up to societal expectations. These fears create emotional wounds that shape our lives, driving us to seek external validation, approval, or safety, often at the expense of our mental and emotional well-being. Ego and identity. The ego, which forms the foundation of our third-dimensional identity, is inherently fragile. It thrives on the idea of individuality and separateness, which creates an underlying sense of vulnerability. When our ego is challenged, whether through rejection, failure, or loss, we often experience deep emotional pain. These moments can leave lasting scars, forming the roots of trauma that linger for years or even decades. Because the ego is so closely tied to our self-worth in the third dimension, any threat to it is perceived as a direct threat to our existence, leading to emotional turmoil. Relationships are another area where third-dimensional trauma often accumulates. In 3D, relationships are frequently driven by fear, need, or a desire for validation. When these relationships fail or become toxic, they leave behind emotional scars, feelings of abandonment, betrayal, resentment, or inadequacy. Many of us carry unresolved pain from childhood, romantic relationships, friendships, or family dynamics that shape how we view ourselves and others. This baggage not only weighs us down emotionally, but it also hinders our ability to connect authentically with others as we continue to guard ourselves from further hurt. As we begin to shift into higher dimensions of consciousness, the baggage and trauma accumulated in 3D can prevent us from fully accessing the higher vibrational states of being. Healing these wounds is a vital step in raising our consciousness and ascending to the fourth and fifth dimensions. Trauma and emotional baggage are stored in the body and mind as lower vibrational energy. These energies resonate with feelings of fear, anger, guilt, shame, and sadness, emotions that anchor us to the third dimension. To shift into higher dimensions where love, compassion, and unity are the dominant vibrations, we must release these lower vibrational emotions. Holding on to them not only blocks our progress, but also perpetuates patterns of pain and separation in our lives. Aligning with higher consciousness. Higher dimensions are characterized by unity, oneness, and connection with the universal mind. To align with these states of consciousness, we must let go of the limiting beliefs and emotional wounds that keep us tethered to three-dimensional thinking. As we heal, we open ourselves to higher perspectives and gain the ability to see beyond the duality of good and bad, right and wrong. Healing frees us from the ego's grip, allowing us to embrace the interconnectedness of all life and to operate from a place of love, compassion, and understanding. Creating space for growth. When we heal from third-dimensional trauma, we create space for new experiences, insights, and levels of awareness to enter our lives. Emotional wounds take up energetic space within us, and until we address them, they continue to block our ability to grow and evolve. Healing is a process of clearing out old patterns and making room for higher vibrational energies to flow into our lives. It is through this process that we can fully step into our potential and experience the joy, peace, and freedom that come with higher dimensional living. Techniques for healing third-dimensional trauma. There are several powerful techniques that can help facilitate healing from third-dimensional trauma. By practicing these techniques, you can begin to release old wounds, raise your vibration, and prepare yourself for the shift into higher dimensions. Forgiveness is a key component of healing. When we hold on to grudges, anger, or resentment, we remain trapped in the emotional pain of the past. Forgiveness allows us to release these negative emotions and free ourselves from the cycle of suffering. This does not mean condoning harmful behavior, but rather choosing to let go of the emotional charge that keeps us stuck in pain. Forgiving others, and most importantly, forgiving ourselves, opens the door to emotional liberation and healing. Exercise. Reflect on a person or situation that has caused you pain. Write a letter of forgiveness, expressing your feelings and your intention to release the hurt. You don't need to send the letter, it's for you to release the emotional burden. Releasing emotional pain is essential for healing. Often we hold on to trauma because we believe it defines us, or because we are afraid to face the intensity of the emotions. However, releasing these feelings allows us to move forward. Techniques such as journaling, breathwork, and energy healing can help release stored emotions and cleanse the energetic body. Exercise. Try a daily journaling practice where you write freely about your emotions. Don't censor yourself. Allow whatever comes up to flow onto the page. This practice can help you identify and release trapped emotions. Compassion, both for ourselves and for others, is a powerful healing tool. Many of us are harsh and judgmental toward ourselves, which only deepens the emotional wounds we carry. By cultivating self-compassion, we create a safe and loving space within ourselves for healing to occur. Compassion for others helps us transcend feelings of resentment, anger, or blame, and fosters a sense of connection and unity. Exercise. Practice self-compassion by speaking kindly to yourself. When you notice self-critical thoughts, gently replace them with words of understanding and care. Additionally, try a loving kindness meditation, where you send compassion to yourself and others. Many of the wounds we carry in the third dimension stem from childhood experiences. Inner child healing involves reconnecting with the wounded parts of ourselves, offering them love, care, and validation. By healing our inner child, we can address the root of many of our emotional wounds and free ourselves from patterns of pain that originated in our early years. Exercise. Close your eyes and visualize your younger self. Imagine yourself as a child, sitting with you now. What does this child need? How can you comfort them? Spend time offering love and reassurance to your inner child. As you begin your healing journey, it can be helpful to reflect on your experiences and emotions. Here are some prompts to guide your reflection. 1. What emotional wounds or trauma am I still carrying from the past? How do they affect my life today? 2. Are there any relationships in my life where I'm holding on to anger, resentment, or blame? How can I practice forgiveness in these situations? 3. What beliefs or fears are keeping me anchored in three-dimensional consciousness? How can I begin to release these limiting beliefs? 4. How can I cultivate more compassion for myself and others in my daily life? 5. What steps can I take to reconnect with my inner child and offer them healing? Healing from third-dimensional trauma is a crucial step in raising our consciousness and preparing for the shift into higher dimensions. The emotional wounds and baggage we accumulate in three-dimensional life can weigh us down, preventing us from accessing the higher vibrational states of love, unity, and oneness that define the fourth and fifth dimensions. By practicing forgiveness, release, compassion, and inner child healing, we can begin to free ourselves from the limitations of the past and step into a more expansive, harmonious way of being. As you embark on your healing journey, remember that the process is not linear. Healing takes time, patience, and self-compassion. But with each step you take toward emotional liberation, you open yourself to the possibility of experiencing life from a higher, more enlightened perspective. Healing is not just about overcoming the past, it is about creating space for growth, transformation, and the expansion of your consciousness into higher dimensions.